Today I want to talk to you about success, and I want to talk to you explicitly about succeeding in the art of succeeding. And here's the one rule you need to know: that there is no one rule. There is no app. You cannot download a software program. It is something that is going to be issued from you. And it's going to take one thing and one thing alone. It's going to take a lot of this one thing. And you know what that one thing is? It's WORK. So how is it that we succeed in life? How is it that we get from where we are to where we want to be? And how do we get there as quickly as possible? Well, I'm going to give you three things that I think are very essential. The first one is you've got to do what others aren't willing to do. You see, it's going to take overtime. It's going to take a lot of tenacity. It's going to be working Saturdays. It's going to be putting in a lot of diligent effort. You've probably heard that term, sweat equity. And it's not just a cliche phrase, it's the real thing. You're going to have to do what others aren't willing to do to get to a place that they're never going to be. Number two, I want you to understand that the word discipline isn't a negative. The word discipline is a positive thing. In my life, one of the biggest, hardest obstacles that I had to overcome was getting up early in the morning. I was one of those guys that I could stay up all night long, and I really took a lot of pride in the fact that I was a night owl. And then I realized just how ridiculous it was when I started looking around and I started noticing how all the successful people in my life, all of my mentors, they were getting up at 4 and 5 in the morning. And I started realizing, you know what? They're up before everyone else. They're fresh and alive, and they're able to have this time to themselves, to be able to learn and to read and to meditate, to be able to spend time collecting their thoughts and writing out their goals for the day. It wasn't until I implemented that, and it was hard. It still is today to wake up at 5 in the morning. But you know what? It's the most selfish part of the day, and it's the part of the day that I wouldn't give up for anything now. Last but not least, I want you to consider the fact that in order to succeed, you must be willing to fail. I know people, and I bet you know people, and I know you're not one of these, but we all know people who their fear of failure is greater than their desire to succeed. And the fact is that you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great, okay? You take Michael Jordan. He didn't just pop out of the womb and know how to play ball. He worked at it, and he worked at it more than anyone else. That's the reason he's the greatest NBA player of all time. The fact is, if you want to go from where you are to where you want to be, and you want to be successful at it, you've got to be able to not to be afraid of failing. Failure is a part of succeeding. When you fail, you learn what works, you learn what doesn't, and it's the part that doesn't work that you learn the most from. And why is that important? Well, if you're a quick learner, or if you're a slow learner like I am, sometimes you fail, and you fail again, and then you realize, well, I never want to do that again. Guess what? If Thomas Edison had given up on creating the light bulb, if Thomas Edison had decided, well, you know, it's the 9,999th time a failure, I'm just giving up. Well, guess what? We wouldn't have light bulbs today. So I encourage you, embrace failure. Don't be afraid of it. It is your greatest teacher. Well, there's your tips for retirement success and just personal life in general. Make it a great day.